Welcome to the Killer Countdown. I am one of your hosts. I am Casey Kelderman. Join with me, as always, is Blake Ginithan.
What's up?
Blake's a little distracted right now. He's making out our list for our top 10 movies of 2019, because that's today's episode.
I'm really excited.
I'm very excited. And we decided to do 10 because it's our show.
I just realized I had my cards up.
Oh, I didn't even look at it. Yeah, we're doing 10 this week, Blake.
Yes, we are.
It's our show and we do what we want.
We do what we want. We're going to change it up a little bit. We're not going to be drawing out of hats or anything. We're kind of just going to be a copacetic thing where we just talk about our favorites of the year. Mm-hmm. And do you want to do a veto or not?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
It's still a killer countdown.
Still a killer countdown. We got to have the veto. The
stab in there.
Perfect. So we're doing 10 today.
10. 5 each.
I'm going to go first, and you get the top spot.
Yes. You're very gracious to give me the top spot.
Yeah, I think it matters more to you than it does me, because I think you enjoyed the year more than I did.
Probably.
And I'm not saying it was a bad year for horror, maybe just not as good as recent years for me. Yeah,
I really enjoyed this year. I thought it was great. Like I told you when you were writing down our cards, I have 3, 4, 5 of them where I'm like, they're not going to make the list because I can't even write them down.
Wow.
Yeah, because if I was doing a personal top 10, I might have a little more fun at 10 and 9, but
yeah,
can't do that when you only have 5 picks.
That's true.
Yeah.
Wait till you only have 4 picks.
Yeah. That's. I'm still going to have fun with that.
Yeah.
But, we're going to do top 10 movies of 2019. And before we get to that, though, Blake, should we talk about what we watched recently? If you have anything,
I will let you do some talking. I have not watched much. Well, no, I didn't. I'll save it because it might come up in another countdown.
I actually have quite a few since we last recorded, but I'll bring up just a couple of the main ones that I watched. Because I brought a couple of them up in conversation with you, where I think I finally realized which decade in horror I just love for some reason. Maybe guilty pleasure love.
One of the worst ones?
Yeah, that one. I think I realized recently that I just love the post-Scream era.
Why is that?
I don't know.
Well,
I really don't know.
How old were you during that age?
I say it's from 96 when Scream came out till about 2004 when Saw. Because Saw, I think, is the big change.
Yeah. What year did Hostel come out?
The year before Saw. 03, I think, Hostel came out.
Okay.
Right? No. Hostel came out after Saw.
Hostel was like 2005 or 2004 or something.
Cabin Fever came out in like 02, 03.
Yeah. And Saw was 2004.
Yeah. So 03, 04, I think,
so that was
a big shift.
That was a big shift in
the torture porn.
Yeah. Which really no one looks back on and
fondly.
Yeah,
no.
I enjoy some of them, but
we'll do a torture porn episode. We promise. But yeah, the first one I watched because my fiance Kayla had never seen it before. It was Darkness Falls.
Okay.
And I pitched her the premise, and I'm like, Killer Tooth Fairy. Actually, no, wait, she had seen this one. There's a different one we watched she hadn't seen, but she hadn't watched it since she was a kid. And she's like, man, I don't remember anything about this. And I'm like, all right, let's do it. And we had just seen The Lighthouse, so it was like, all right, Lighthouse era movie, let's do it. This movie's not great, but it holds up better than I expected it to be.
I've only seen it once. My favorite part was the fact that it was like 107 or an hour and 7 minutes with like 15 minutes of credits, and it was over. You know, I don't know. I need to watch it again if it holds up as well for you.
It has a banger of a soundtrack, though.
Does it really?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
and that's part of the reason why.
Like Disturbed and Linkin Park. Really?
Saliva and like that era of bands. I love it. It needs a remake, though.
Why?
Because I don't think they go full into, like picture in your head, Killer Tooth Fairy.
Yeah.
This movie doesn't deliver that. It's just a thing. A black thing. That flies.
Yeah. So maybe it was we have this haunting, this ghost thing, but we need something that is gonna like a gimmick to sell it. Yeah.
Apparently, there's a really good commentary on this movie from the original writers.
Oh.
That none of their ideas ended up in the script, so it's them pretty much shitting on the movie.
Damn.
Or saying, this is the difference that made, this is what we wanted to do. I'm like, I want to go back and listen to that. That sounds interesting. But then after that, I went to Dead Man's Curve. So same era. Similarly enough, it has a lighthouse in it.
Okay.
It stars Matthew Lillard, who's basically playing the same character as his Scream character, but now in college. So it's about two college roommates that set up a plan to kill their other roommate because they hear if your roommate commits suicide, you get straight A's, 4.0 grade point average for that semester, which apparently is a real thing.
Oh, wow.
And there's a couple movies based on it. But yeah, this was... this movie's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much where you expect it to go for the first 3/4 of the movie. Matthew Lillard has a little deception in his own plan of what's going on, but then you get to the end, and it's like M. Night Shyamalan had a baby with himself, and this is how many twists end up in this movie.
There's a bunch of twists at the end.
It's just like boom, boom, boom,
like
four twists in a row. They make no, they don't make any sense either.
We've talked about this. I think I've seen this, but it was when it first came out on DVD.
Yeah.
So it's been
in
almost 20 years.
98?
Yeah.
Yeah. You should watch it again. I want to just... Because my reaction, I was...
Where did you watch this at?
I think it was on Tubi for free.
Okay.
So, but it's under... So it has two titles right now. Dead Man's Curve and The Curve.
Okay.
It's under The Curve.
Okay.
For streaming.
Okay.
So, this movie's nuts. I sat like this... Like with my hands on my face like Kevin McAllister for the last 10 minutes. Because I'm like, this is happening?
Weird.
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out.
I just could not believe what was happening. So the rest of mine are pretty much all...
Ones that we're talking about today.
Ones that we're going to talk about today, unless you want to talk about the Ice Cream Man.
Yeah, I want to hear about that.
Okay, so the last movie I watched of 2019 was...
Your last movie?
Was the last movie
I'm going to talk about my last movie I watched because it technically kind of is a horror movie.
Let's do that. I'll end with the Ice Cream Man for mine here.
Cool.
I didn't love it, but Clint Howard's great.
Yeah, he's a national treasure.
It felt like a made-for-TV version of a slasher movie. Don't think it was. Pretty sure probably just straight to video back in the day.
What's it about?
So the Ice Cream Man is about a child who sees his childhood ice cream man gunned down randomly.
I'm already in.
Yeah, that's the opening 30 seconds of the movie. Just gunned down. Within that, the kid walks up to the ice cream truck, picks up an ice cream bar, and has blood covered all over him too. And he's mourning over his ice cream man. And he eventually grows up to be said ice cream man in this town after going through years of rehabilitation in this crazy mental asylum. And he likes to kill kids and use human parts as his ice cream.
That sounds lovely.
Yeah, that's the movie. Ice Cream Man. And if you can't tell, it's been very early in the morning, so if we're a little groggy.
We're
knocking out 2 episodes.
We're doing 2 episodes today. Yeah. Ice Cream Man's one of those movies that I was passed by in the VHS in the horror section, and I'm like, oh, this looks really cool,
Yeah.
And I never watched it, but I do love Clint Howard.
This would be a great movie night movie.
I keep thinking about Ron Howard calling Clint up and being like, hey, what are you doing this weekend? Hey, I'm shooting this movie. You want to come by? And Ron Howard shows up on the set of Ice Cream Man. They're just hanging out on set together. The Howard brothers.
Little Bryce Dallas is running around on set.
That'd be funny.
She might have been in the movie for all I know.
It's possible.
It's not great, but it feels like they had this awesome idea, which I think Killer Ice Cream Man is an awesome idea.
Yeah.
But they didn't really have the budget to do some of the stuff they wanted to do.
Sure.
Because it pulls away on some of the gore that they could have kept in.
Is that a Roger Corman movie?
I don't think so.
Because it came out around the same time as Carnosaur, I believe. And it just feels like it would be a part of that whole production house.
I'll look it up here. Ice Cream Man. I'll let you go to yours.
My last movie of 2019, of the decade that I watched.
Shit, that's the Ice Cream Man's. I
guess the last movie I watched of the decade, which was a completely wrong. I mean, I'm glad I watched it. I've seen it before, but it. So, just to preface the story, my wife went out for a New Year's party and left me at home with our daughter. And I decided to watch Enter the Void by Gaspar Noé. And it's not a horror movie per se, but it's a pretty horrific tale about this guy who dies and his spirit floats through Tokyo watching over his sister. And I don't know. Have you seen this at all?
I have not. No.
Yeah, like I said, not really a horror movie, but just being alone at the turn of not only just a year but a new decade. The movie permeates with loneliness, and being alone on New Year's, especially like getting sick, did not help watching this movie. But I recommend you watch it. It's quite a unique experience. That was my last movie.
I looked it up here, Ice Cream Man. I don't see any. There's no Corman.
No
behind
Corman?
It. Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
It just seems like something he would do.
There actually was never a sequel to it, but there was a 2014 Kickstarter backed by Clint Howard for a sequel. Ice Cream Man 2, Sunday, Bloody Sunday. But not spelled Sunday.
Is it Sunday with an A-E Sunday?
Yeah.
I love it.
That's awesome. All right. Let's get into this. Let's do this.
I'm ready.
All right. So
Well, I'm not ready, but I'm ready.
Yeah. So you will have the 10, the 8, the 6, the 4, and the 2. I will have the 9, 7, 5, 3, and 1 for the top 10 films of 2019. Are we saying best? I know I'm gonna put it'll say best in the title, but for us, for the picks, you are picking.
In my opinion, these are the. Yeah, I guess they'd be the best horror movies that I saw this year.
Are they also? Oh, but then are they also your favorite?
Yeah,
I think there is.
Yeah, definitely.
Personal
most
favorite.
definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we can call it best. We can call it favorite. Doesn't matter. These
Yeah.
are the 10 horror movies that
we want.
That we want for
our list. Yeah, I would say most of mine are the 10. The ones I would have on my favorites / best. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to break down the rules of the Killer Countdown for us?
Yeah. Well, it's a little different today.
Little modified rules.
Generally, we draw out of a hat, and whoever gets a certain number would place a movie in that spot. Today, we're just going to alternate spots. I'm going to go first. I'll have 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. You'll have 9, 7, 5, 3, 1. And we'll just throw it out there. Throw our picks out there. If Casey thinks that I play a movie that is not good, not deserving, he can stab it off the list. The movies are not off entirely, and they can come back at a higher spot, different spots. Or if Casey wants a movie higher, he can stab it off and play it later. And we each get one of those. And once they are used, they are done.
Done for the game. All right, so I drew up a couple stabs for both of us, just in case. I don't think we'll use them.
I don't know. I don't think we will.
No. All right, so number 10, you're going to kick it off for us here.
Number 10. I got to find my card here. Number 10. This might be more of a thriller than a horror movie, but it technically would fall under that.
The umbrella.
Right.
Okay.
It's Ma, starring Octavia Spencer. I had an absolute blast watching this movie. This movie is a lot of fun. It's about Octavia Spencer plays this nurse in a small town. She's known as Ma. Hence the title. And one day she runs into a group of teenagers who are looking to have someone buy them alcohol, and she agrees to buy alcohol, and then she says, "Hey, do you guys have a place to drink? A safe place?" They're like, "No, we're just gonna go to a dirt road and we'll do it." And she's like, "Well, no, why don't you come into my house? You guys can, if you get too drunk, you can sleep it off. Like I have this whole space, you can do it." And they're like, "Okay, cool." And so she it starts happening more and more frequently, and the more it happens, the more like they kind of realize like maybe something's not right with her, but she's cool for most part, and slowly she starts to integrate herself into their lives, and scene by scene you figure out why, and there's flashbacks. Have you seen this?
I've not.
Okay, I'm not going to say anything then, but there's a reason why she is letting them drink in their house, and soon like she starts to do stuff to them while they're passed out. She starts drugging their drinks, and this movie never takes itself seriously, and it really dives in on how wacky and crazy it is, and like as good as Octavia Spencer has been throughout her career with her Oscar nominations and wins, like this is my favorite performance of hers, and she dives all the way in. It's made by the same guy who did The Help.
Yeah,
Tate
Taylor.
Yeah. And
very different movie.
This just feels like a Lifetime thriller. And they went all in, and they said, we don't care how ridiculous this is, we're gonna have fun, and they drove over the stop sign with their car on this. It's a lot of fun, and I don't want to say too much because some of the twists are just like, you've got to be kidding me. There's no way they're doing this. Oh, okay, they're doing it. So I would love it to be at higher, but I just want it here.
Yeah, I'm all for it. I wanted to see this movie, never got to it. Octavia Spencer looks like a blast in this movie.
She's
everything in the marketing campaign for this movie made me want to see it, but I just never got around to it. Yeah, I'm all for Ma. We need a party with Ma.
Yeah, we do.
I'll
bring the beer.
All right, number 10, Ma.
I better write that down.
All right, what do I want to play here? Shit. All right. So since you said that one is more of a thriller, I think I will stick with horror adjacent with my first pick here, because this one is technically not a horror movie, but it is. I think it has to fall under that, because I don't know where else to put this.
Are we getting controversial already?
We might be getting controversial already. Number 9. Not sure if you saw this movie yet. I'm gonna go with number 9, Lords of Chaos.
Okay.
So this is a movie about the death metal band Mayhem from, I believe, Norway.
I think that sounds right.
I think so. It's definitely a Norwegian death metal band. But this is a band from the late 80s, early 90s, and they would take things to the extreme when they did everything. Everything they did in their life was to the extreme, and it was against the man. It's not necessarily a spoiler because it's based on a true band, but I will say what happens in the first 15-20 minutes to this movie. So the first part is it stars Roy Culkin as the main character, and he's great in this movie. First of all, probably the most talented Culkin out there. But
is he the one on the show Succession?
Probably.
Okay.
I don't know. I can't keep them all straight. I just know Macaulay, the one from Home Alone.
Yeah.
This is about the formation and the collapse of the band Mayhem. And so basically, the movie starts off with the band forming together. But you realize that these kids they're all outcasts. They don't necessarily agree with society or the way the society works or government works. But then you also figure out that these kids come from rich families. They're not poor. They're not
really.
They're not the bottom of the barrel when it comes to having money. But they will just want to rebel against society in general, and they all bonded over that. But when it comes, I don't remember all the names of the band members, but the lead singer, he had this gimmick where whenever he would go out on stage, he would first bury himself alive, come out, and he'd be just covered in dirt and scratches and everything, and he would look like a zombie. Mm-hmm. And so he did that before he would go on stage. Is this in the movie? Yeah.
Okay.
What happened? He has a very troubled past, the lead singer, and he eventually kills himself. And they show it in the movie, and it's very graphic, and it upsets, my gut was just into my throat. Mm-hmm. But what happens is the main character takes a picture of it after he sees his friend. They all live in the same house together. And he takes a picture of it, and that's their album cover for their first album, is the picture of his friend with his head blown off. Is the album cover.
Okay.
So they take things to the extreme within the first 20 minutes of this movie. And the rest of the movie is about the band and how they are rebelling against society, and they start burning down churches because they don't believe in the formation of religion. But yeah, Lords of Chaos, it has to qualify under a horror movie, but it's also a musical biopic.
Okay.
And within the era of musical biopics that we live in now, where they're all pretty fluffy and don't pull any punches. Yeah, this one stands out.
Okay.
The third act is fantastic. It's also a very funny movie.
Okay.
for how dark it is as well. So yeah, Lords of Chaos. It's one that I saw early this year, very early, and it's just stuck with me since.
Yeah. Cool. I'm not gonna stab it, so
yeah, I recommend it, but prepare yourself to not want to do anything.
I think when we look at a list, it needs to encompass a variety of types of horror, especially since horror is as an umbrella name is so wide, and so I'm okay with like a musical biopic. Horrific
and
movie.
I don't know what to put. Like I have some other movies. I'm like, what do you put it under?
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
Lords of Chaos is my pick at number 9.
I have not seen this yet. I should check it out.
Yeah, it's a very very dark movie, but it's also got some very comedic moments.
All right.
Yeah.
Very cool.
All right.
Number 8.
Number 8.
What am I gonna do?
Number 8 to be great.
All right, I'm doing this. Number 8 is the best movie. Let me rephrase this. Number 8 is the best Saw movie that never was a Saw movie, and that's Escape Room. This movie is a complete blast. Basically a bunch of strangers get invited to a corporation. Not a corporation. They get invited to some guy's office, and they've all been chosen for a specific reason. And they're waiting for this guy to come and talk to them about like the opportunity they're being presented. And all of a sudden, like the room locks down. That starts heating up, and they have to figure a way out.
They realize that the office that they're in is the escape room.
Well, they don't know why they're there.
Yeah.
And I want to slightly backtrack a little bit. The movie opens with one of those. And I hate when movies do like they show something and then they go 1 hour earlier.
Yeah.
I hate when movies do that.
Oh yeah. I remember how this sounds. Yeah, I hate that.
And so a movie really needs to earn. Like I drop points immediately for a movie when it does that. Mm-hmm. So a movie needs to do a good job of earning that back for me. And this movie does that tenfold. But it's basically, it runs the same thing as like the Saw movies, or even if you want to go back further, the Cube movies, where people are stuck in a small confined space and they have to figure a way out. And they just go from room to room that are thematically different. Like one is like an outdoor setting where they're freezing. One is a book or a library nook, and it's constantly getting smaller, and they're all timed.
Billiards room that's upside down.
Yeah. There's so many great rooms, and that's another thing too. Is like the rooms are very lively, and they're their own character in their own way. Mm-hmm. And I love how the movie ends. Have you seen this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So I love where the movie goes, where it ends, and I love that this is not like a
contained thing.
Right. Yeah. It's more like it's almost like this plot of like a government thing happening. And
we want a sequel.
Right. Yeah, that's true. I had a blast watching Escape Room.
Yeah, I kind of didn't love Escape Room at all. It is one of the better Saw movies. I will give it that.
Yeah.
I didn't love this movie.
You didn't like it?
No.
You didn't like it?
I hated every character in this.
Really?
Yeah.
Even the main girl who was such a fantastic actress and.
Oh, she was good. But I hated her character.
Okay.
Or lack thereof. Because there's a point within this movie where she does something and in a hospital room that I was not on board with.
Okay. That's a great scene, by the way, too. No? Okay.
No. I didn't love it. I think they killed their best character in the movie.
Before I write it down.
Very fast.
Are you stabbing this off the list?
No, I want to. Because I think there's much better movies out there. Even, I'll leave it for now. Because I think
there's no for now. You're leaving it for good.
No, I'll leave it because I think the rooms itself are the best characters.
Yeah. In
this movie. I'm excited to see a sequel though. I am. I want to see what they can do next. I want to see them expand this world that they set up. I really wish, because I love how it was set up where it's a mystery who's behind all this. I think it would have been a cool reveal if this would have been the Saw movie that we're getting this year. That would have been pretty cool. Like all of a sudden they turn around and the monitor turns on and you have played a game or something. And Jigsaw's on the TV.
I would have been pretty upset, but
really,
yeah.
I think that's how you have to. I want more sequels to do that, to pull the split, where the movie split, where it's like, oh well, this is a sequel to Unbreakable. Sweet.
Yeah.
I think more movies need to take.
No, I'm not.
I
don't disagree with you. I just hate the Saw series so much that I think I'd be upset if that was.
I don't love it, but this is probably would be top 3 Saw movies for sure. Yeah. So Escape Room number 8. All right, I need to get this thing back on track.
Are you going to cleanse here a little bit?
I got to get this thing back on track.
You mean derail it?
No. I could derail it, but no, we're going to keep it on track. I'm going to go with number 7, Tigers Are Not Afraid. So, I'm going to have a couple movies on here that might say 2018 if you look them up, but they weren't released in the U.S. till 2019. This is one of them. Tigers Are Not Afraid. This was a Shudder exclusive or original one. I can't remember which one it was, but this is where I watched it on Shudder. Directed by Issa Lopez. It's basically about these kids who live in Mexico, and they're set up that these kids, none of them either don't know where their parents are, or their parents have died because of the drug cartel. But this is also very early Del Toro because it mixes fantasy with very real world stuff.
As in, it's inspired by.
I don't know. Yeah, I would say it's inspired by even so much as Now She's Working with Del Toro.
Yeah,
where he's like, all right, that was me back in the day. Let's do something together.
Yeah.
This movie is, if you're into early Del Toro stuff, this is right up your alley. This is probably the best made out of every movie we're going to be talking about. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it, but I mean, those are big words.
Those are big words. It's just not getting a lot of attention as some of the other movies I think that are this year. It's just a fantastic film that follows these very young actors, and they're very good in this movie. But it follows like these characters within this world that I don't want to be in. And these kids are 10 years old and they're going through this.
Yeah.
And it follows like you never truly understand if it's a ghost, if it's just a fantasy element, or what it really is throughout the movie. But it uses great symbolism within the fantasy elements, which Del Toro knew how to do back in the day. Yeah. And still does. But yeah, Tigers Are Not Afraid, I think, is going to be a big breakout for Lopez, and she'll go on to bigger, more mainstream things after this for sure. But yeah, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. And
it takes place in Mexico?
It takes place in Mexico during the drug wars of now. And
yeah, I was going to say that. Those are ongoing.
It's just a great film, and the title makes so much sense when you watch the movie. Even just...
I have an idea of what would happen or could happen maybe
with...
Yeah, well, I don't, but yeah, If there's a fantastical element to it, then I kind of have an idea of where it could possibly go.
If you love watching kids do stuff like in Stranger Things, you need to watch this because this is how you need to do kids content.
Then I'll skip it.
No, this is how you need to do kids content.
Okay.
It's not Stranger Things at all.
Okay.
In a good way. Good way.
Okay.
Yeah. So Tigers Are Not Afraid. My number 7.
I'm not gonna stab that. I've not seen it. But I mean the acclaim is there, so I can't deny that.
I had to clean it up after Escape Room.
Oh please. All right, so I have.
We each got 3 picks left.
3 picks left. Oh my God, Casey.
Yeah, I don't, because there's how many you got left there?
I have 4.
I think I got 4 or 5 left here.
Okay. I am going to play a movie that you just watched.
Okay.
It is called Luz, or is it Luz? Luz? I forget how they pronounce it.
Luz.
Luz
or Luz. I think they pronounce it both ways.
Movie is incredible. How do I describe this movie? Yeah. Okay. You can say what genre it is, because I knew what genre it is, and it helped me watching it. It's a possession movie.
Okay. That might be all you need to say.
Well, I want to describe a little bit about like why it's so good. So why this movie like ticks. so much quicker than other horror movies. This is almost like an action horror movie in the sense that there's no action gunfights, kung fu fighting, nothing like that. But like action isn't like the editing and like it's so rapid. Everything happens so quickly. There's not slowing down for anything. You really need to pay attention to what's happening. Otherwise, you will be lost because it does not slow down to explain anything.
Well, I would say it does, but you need to catch every line of dialogue that is said.
Yeah. So basically, a woman walks into the opening shot is a woman walks into a police station, and she says, like, I'm possessed. There's something, coming after, or not possessed. There's something following me. And then it cuts to a bar where a woman and a doctor, I believe, are talking, and they're kind of flirting. And they go into the bathroom, and all of a sudden, this woman, like, doesn't attack this guy, but like, starts to put you
transfer some sort of life force or
realize there's
something.
a force inside of her, and it's trying to put it into the guy. She succeeds, and this guy comes after this other girl who walked in the police station. And then is it like a reenactment of what happened? It's so this movie just went up on Shudder, I believe.
Yep.
So if I'm doing a terrible job explaining it, it's because it's such a baffling experience.
It's really hard to explain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you just need to trust us and go watch this. If you have a home theater system, the sound design is incredible.
Especially during that reenactment scene.
Oh my god! I only have a 5.1 set up, but there's a part where voices literally go from speaker to speaker all around your head, and there are whirling. And like you said, the scene where they reenact the cab ride, where like it's almost like a play. Like they're on stage of a play, and they're like, this woman's sitting in a chair, and she's pretending she's driving, and whenever she shifts with her hand, when she mimes it, the car shifts.
And you hear it.
Yeah, it's just an incredible experience, and I there's no way this movie can't be on this list. It's such a fun movie. Did you like it?
I liked it. I didn't love it, but I think that was just because it was a first time watch, and I'm like, I don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
It's one I'm going to go back to, though.
Me too.
Definitely.
I would love to say this is like my favorite movie of the year, but it's not. There's one movie. It's clearly the best horror movie of the year. But it's got to be here. It's such an incredible experience.
Yeah, I can't because Possession. So when I was looking for something to watch, and that's how I came across Luz was.
It wasn't because it was on my top 15 of my Instagram post.
I actually saw that you had it on there, and I had other people that also put it on their best of the year.
Very
and
cool.
Stuff. And so I knew about it, and I remember seeing the trailer for it because we were maybe going to get it in Sioux Falls at one point this year.
For real?
Yeah. Indie events.
Oh.
But Kayla and I were looking for a movie, and she loves possession movies.
Yeah.
So I'm like, but I'm sick of them. Because they're all the same. Every possession movie is the same.
This one's not.
So I convinced her by saying it's a possession movie, so we could watch it, and it is a possession movie very much. Except you are the one being possessed.
Yeah, it's a chamber piece. It
literally feels like you are pulled into.
Yeah, it feels like
another body.
It feels. You know what it feels like? It feels like Dario Argento made a possession movie. That's what it feels like.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that now.
Yeah, like the Giallo influences are very much here in this movie. There's only like 4 people in the movie, 5 people, two sets, 3 sets. Like there's not much going on here. It's a very low budget movie.
The bar, the room, and then the police station.
Shot on 16 millimeter, so it looks gorgeous, and the sound design is unreal. I cannot praise this movie enough.
Yep. This is like if you're gonna do a low budget indie horror movie, this is a template to look at.
Yeah.
Don't take the concept or the exact story, but like how they made it. So it's all about the atmosphere.
This is all the style of just a different retelling of the same old story.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm all for this pick.
Yes.
Wasn't in my list, but I knew.
You knew it was coming.
I knew it was coming. So. That's number 6. Loose. All right, so I got to go number 5 here. Hoping you play that one. I will go with number 5 here. Yeah, I don't think you'll play it, but I think it has to be on this list. Number 5 is Jordan Peele's Us. Now, Us is his directorial follow-up to Get Out. I'm sure everybody who's listening to this has already seen it, but basically it's about...
Who's Jordan Peele?
Jordan Peele, the guy...
Is he new?
He's a new guy. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. That guy from the Weird Al White Nerdy music video.
Is he really?
He and
I actually didn't know that.
He and Keegan-Michael Key are both
my
in
sarcasm stops there. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're both in that. But Us is about this family that goes on vacation to is it Santa Monica?
Yes, Santa Monica Pier. No, not Santa Monica.
Wherever they shot Lost Boys.
Yeah, it's Santa Rosa, I think. Anyway,
Santa something on California.
It's not Santa Monica. We'll keep talking.
Anyway,
we'll figure it out.
It's on the beachfront of California.
Yeah.
And they go out there. But on one of the first nights that they are out on their vacation, this group of doppelgangers show up at their house that look exactly like them. They're all dressed in red, and they are hell-bent on killing them. And I'll leave it at that. Don't need to explain too much else. But Us is I think this is what I want Jordan Peele to continue to do.
Yeah.
He's taking stuff he loves from other movies, but building an entirely different story with it within his own creation. I loved Get Out. I think I like Us more. I think Us is a more straight-up horror movie, but it's also very funny.
Yeah.
Because it's Jordan Peele.
Right.
But I think everything he does with his nods to other films, but also building characters within his own that I root for, but yet by the end you don't because of twists.
Right.
But I think the son character is a great character to follow in this movie.
Yeah.
The dad is one of, if not my favorite character out of any movie this year. He is so likable.
That Winston Duke?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's so likable in this movie. He's every person's dad in this movie, and I love that. One of the first things he does in the movie is dabs, and his teenage daughter just like, "Dad, I hate you" type of look to him, and I love it. And then all the doppelganger stuff is really fun, but it's also tense because it's home invasion. It's like imagine seeing yourself outside of your house, and you're like, what's happening? And having that happen. I think the best scene in the movie as far as horror goes is with their friends, their neighbors. The NWA scene slash Beach Boys scene is the best scene in the movie. I think again, along with Get Out, there's so much subtext underneath in pretty much every scene in this movie. Not probably to the not crafted as tightly as Get Out was, but I think it's still there because I saw it in a different way than everybody else saw it as far as what the story was about.
Okay.
And we can get into that later or now. I don't care. But
sure.
The Hands Across America thing, I didn't know what that was because I'm also 12 years old. I didn't know what that was. So as they're talking about hands and building a blockade, I'm like, okay, that's a wall. A certain president in today's United States is talking about building a wall. And so I had the wall stuck in my mind the entire movie. So that's the way I read it, and keeping who in and who out, and you don't know, there's not necessarily good guys or bad guys, it's people type of thing. So yeah, that's the way I read it, and I haven't heard anyone else say it that way, because it was very much Hands Across America is what they're talking about. But I wanted to bring it modern to what?
I don't think that was the intention.
I don't think it was the intention, but Jordan Peele was probably like, yeah, sure, why not? Which I love. Like, I think that's the best way to go into a horror. Like, this is what horror movies are made for. Stuff like Us.
For expressing ideas without overtly expressing them.
Overt about them.
Yeah.
Not being a documentary about something, but expressing your opinion or having a conversation. I think that is the best way to build a horror movie. It's very much like even like Kubrick's The Shining, like talking about what does this movie mean? What are the subtexts of it? Us and Get Out are both perfect examples of that. It's like, what is this movie about?
Yeah,
Same with Tigers Are Not Afraid very much has that.
I like, and okay, I'm not a terribly big fan of Get Out. We'll get to that in the next episode. But I liked Us a lot more as well. I didn't love it. I thought it was okay. I've only seen it once. I need to watch it again.
Yeah.
someone brought up that Jordan Peele is basically like creating these big long episodes of the Twilight Zone, which makes sense that he has his own show now.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at his filmography from that point. Like he's creating these really interesting episodes of Twilight Zone movies that are, like he's able to flesh out a full story.
Yeah.
I liked Us. I think it falls apart at the end. I think like
I don't love how the twist is done.
When movies start explaining stuff and then they start explaining what they're explaining and then they start explaining what they're explaining, I check out. And I like mystery more than this is what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want my own brain to fill in the cracks, and this just kept going and kept going and kept going, and I'm like, oh my god, like I don't care, like just get to the final cut, and I
have a little theory on that. I don't know why.
Do you think he's making a point about that, or
I think he did it on purpose because he is or maybe not Jordan Peele specifically, but the production behind it and maybe the studio behind it is saying you need to tell us what's happening here. Because Jordan Peele is super mainstream now. So he is the guy when people think of horror movies now. Mainstream audiences.
So you think he had an ending and then the studio told him to keep going with...
To explain it. What's happening here? Unfortunately, studios like to do that.
Yeah,
they say dumb it down.
I know. Which I don't have a problem with that as long as like the director can be like, well, can I release this version on Blu-ray? And then I'll wait to watch that version. But I too think that like the Beach Boys sequence is one of the best sequences of the year.
There's even subtext in that scene, and I love it.
Yeah, whether it's horror or not, I think that's one of the best scenes I've seen this year.
Mm-hmm.
I think Lupita Nyong'o is very good in this movie, and she might get an Oscar nomination.
She won't, but she should.
We'll see. We'll find out in a few days. But or actually, when this airs, we might know by now. Yeah. This movie's okay. Yeah. I'm not gonna.
Is it better than Escape Room?
No, it's not. Escape Room knows what it is. It doesn't try to be anything else.
Us knows what it is.
Okay. There's a lot to admire in Us. I'm not stabbing it. It needs to be here, obviously.
Also, the highest grossing original film of the year.
Yeah, that's a whole other story.
That's another conversation. But that's impressive, though.
That is impressive. I think the other one is Tarantino's movie, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good company.
Yeah, I love the ending. And another thing. Quick, this has nothing really to do with the movie itself, but another thing I love about watching movies is when I discover great songs. And this movie ends with a great song that I'd never heard before by Minnie Riperton, I believe. It's when they're floating over the hills and they're all like
all lined up.
Oh yeah. And anyway, I just had to throw that in there. But yeah, I liked the ending up to a point, and then I loved the final shot because that was to me very apocalyptic. Mm-hmm. And the fact that it didn't go further than that, I have great respect for, because that's the doom that I want, like that just ends. It's like, oh my god, like something apocalyptic is happening, something big is happening, but we're not going to show it. This is the end. Mm-hmm. And I love all the boardwalk stuff at the beginning. I love how it's shot. I love the little nod to Chud, the VHS tape. I think the Lost Boys was there too, right?
No, they mentioned while they're walking on the boardwalk that they're making a vampire movie.
Yes, that's what it is.
Yeah. So there's plenty of horror nods in this.
Right, and
this is it's just it's a modern version of Chud.
Yeah, do we know what he's doing next? Has he announced anything like that?
As far as directing, no. He wrote along with another writing partner, Candyman.
Yeah.
So he's doing that. Twilight Zone gets a season 2.
I heard that was bad.
I only watched the first 2 or 3 episodes. I liked it, but I love Twilight Zone though.
Yeah.
And I know there's some bad episodes in there.
Well, there's bad episodes of everything. There's bad episodes of Black Mirror out there. So
when I watched his first episode of Twilight Zone, with what's the comedian name? Kumail Nanjiani.
He's in that? Okay.
Yeah, he's in the first episode. It's about this comedian. It's a really good episode. But Jordan Peele is basically the new host of the show, and just the way he introduces it, I got chills. Because I'm like, this is really cool. Because I love Jordan Peele in general.
Yeah.
And seeing him as the host of Twilight Zone was really cool. So
that's
I enjoyed the couple episodes that I saw.
Okay.
So, yeah. What are we at? 5? Us.
We're at 4. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
All right. So you got the number 4 then. 2 more picks each.
I might have to write one down. Well, all right. I guess I've kind of put myself in this situation. I think I'm going to...
You got 3 left?
I have 3 left.
Okay, I also have 3. I know which 2 I'm going to play. If you don't play one, then I don't know where it's going to fit then. It might not fit.
Okay, I am going to do this because I have kind of pigeonholed myself into this corner.
Okay.
I'm going to play Jim Jarmusch's The Dead Don't Die. Boy, this is a wild ride. As you can get with...
You were probably the only person that would put this on their top 10 list.
Yeah, well, of horror, not of the year or anything. Although I enjoy this movie quite a bit. This is one of the most nihilistic movies released recently. Have you seen this at all? So basically, have you seen any Jim Jarmusch movies before?
No.
He's got a certain slow burn aesthetic.
Yeah.
Like very, very slow paced, like on purpose. It's about a small town. Looks like a small town in Pennsylvania. Hint, hint. And basically, the dead come back to life because of a comet passing by, I believe. And there's all these actors in it. Adam Driver's in it. Bill Murray, Chloe Sevigny.
Steve Buscemi,
who plays a he's not a character, he's a caricature. He's basically this big Trump supporter. He's got the MAGA hat and it's like I don't mind if you're gonna make fun of a certain demographic, but like don't be so on the nose about it. Tilda Swinton plays a Scottish samurai mortician.
Only Tilda Swinton could play.
Right. Iggy Pop plays a zombie. Selena Gomez is in it. The guy who plays Tex in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is her boyfriend. He's kind of, I forget his name. He's an upcoming star. Anyway, it's a comedy. There's really not much plot to it. It's just about how this town has to fight this zombie outbreak. Yeah. There is one hilarious scene where the zombies walk into a diner and start eating people, and then someone calls the police. Bill Murray and Adam Driver show up, and then one person shows up, like a customer, and they're like, "Oh my God, that's disgusting!" And then Bill Murray goes, "Get him out of there! Don't let him see that!" And another person drives up. "Oh my God, that's disgusting!" Ugh. And Bill Murray's like, "What did I say? Get that person out of there!" Another person shows up. "Oh my God, that's disgusting! What did I say? Get..." It just keeps going. So I found that really funny.
That could have just as well been a bit on Bill Murray too.
Right. Yeah. There's a scene where Adam Driver and Bill Murray are stuck in a car, and Adam Driver goes, "What are we supposed to do?" And Bill Murray goes, "Didn't you read the script?" He goes, "No." He goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "Well, didn't you talk to Jim? Jim told you what we're supposed to do here in this scene." And so it goes all meta. And then, aliens show up, and it's such a bizarre movie that is commentating on all the genre itself. It's commentating on how movies are on autopilot. And there's a lot of interesting things being said that I guess I really appreciated, and I wish more people liked this movie. I can see why if people don't like it, it ends on a very, very, very down note. But I like it a lot, and I found it very, very funny.
I have a question about the meta scene. Is it the only one in the movie?
I don't believe so.
Okay, because I can think of a couple movies where even TV shows, where they have one meta moment, never bring it up or never do it again. And I'm like, what was the point of that?
I don't believe it is, but it is the most significant one where it's like egregiously like, okay, we're stepping outside the box here.
It's no fanatic mentioning Limp Bizkit.
Oh, it's worse than that, isn't it? I mean, if they're literally, because it's one thing to talk about like,
but is it the director like stroking his own ego?
No.
Okay.
I think Jarmusch is a smarter and more talented filmmaker than Fred Durst. I have not seen The Fanatic. I cannot comment on it. But The Dead Don't Die is a really interesting movie, I thought, and like I said, I might be placing it too high, but that's how it happens.
It has to fall on here.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it yet. It'll be one of those things once it goes to a streaming service that I have.
I'm very
I'll
curious to your thoughts because it's not exactly scary, but because it has zombies in it, it's a horror movie, but it's more of like a meta take on maybe cinema itself.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And
it's hard to describe without ruining everything.
Bill Murray and zombie movies tend to work for me.
Yeah.
Adam Driver has a very dry sense of humor that I love.
And that with Murray's dry sense of humor. And I haven't seen a lot of Jarmusch, so I'm not the expert. But from what I have seen with films, he rides that line of dry humor. So all three of those guys working together works very well.
Awesome. So The Dead Don't Die, number 4. All right, I got the number 3. I think I know what I'm going to play here. All right. Number 3. I'm going to go with Radio Silence's Ready or Not.
Oh, I forgot about this movie. I did.
Ready or Not, I know you didn't love as much as me.
I just didn't like it.
Yeah. But watching this movie in the theater was the most fun I had watching a movie all year.
Did you see it with a big crowd?
Period. Fourth, a third of the way full. Okay. Not a full crowd.
Enough to gather.
It was a group of people. There was enough in there. Yeah, it was. But me personally watching the movie, I'm like, I just had a blast watching it. This is the most fun I had in the theater watching a movie, and I saw Star Wars and Avengers and all the big blockbusters. But it was just the most fun I had. Samara Weaving plays this woman who gets married into this very rich and wealthy family, 1%ers, and they made their wealth off board games. So a tradition that they have whenever someone new enters the family is that they have this game box, and basically it says that one of their ancestors or their spirit or their whatever picks a card that they want them to play for whatever game. Could be hide and seek, which you don't want. Could be categories. Could be whatever the hell you want.
Old Maid, I think is referenced.
Yeah. So you could end up on any of these games, but they do end on hide and seek.
Yeah.
Which is a very bad thing for this woman.
Yeah.
Because hide and seek basically is their game to play to keep their wealth. Because when you play hide and seek, you have to kill whoever you are seeking as basically a sacrifice to keep your wealth.
Yeah.
So this movie is a cat and mouse game throughout. Samara Weaving is fantastic in this movie. I think she's great. I first saw her in The Babysitter a few years ago, the McGee movie. The movie's okay. She's great. Here, though, I think the movie is just as good as she is. There's one scene I didn't love involving a car camera. And
it's the best scene of the movie.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't love it. I didn't love the shot back of them watching on the phone and having a reaction. I didn't like that.
Oh, I thought that was... Anyway. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, but I just love the cat and mouse aspect. I think Samara Weaving's great. I think the twists that happen in the movie also are really well done and earned. What's the guy's name? The brother in this movie, the actor.
Adam Brody.
Yeah, Adam Brody's really good in this movie. I think he's, besides Samara Weaving, is the best character in this movie.
Shout out to Seth from the OC. Yeah.
Yeah, he's great in this movie. Yeah, and then yeah, I just love this movie. The ending is great. This is like how I love movies to end. So, Ready or Not?
Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't love it. Why not?
I don't know. I didn't find it funny. I didn't find it. I don't like there like. The opening scene I thought was very unnecessary. Like, it didn't do anything for me. Like, it didn't add anything to the story. Samara Weaving is great. She's going to be a star, and if she doesn't become a star, then there's something seriously wrong with Hollywood.
She needs a new agent then.
Yeah. She's just got that it factor. I love that Annie McDowell is back in a big movie. She's good in this movie, too. She did Magic Mike XXL a few years ago, and she's fantastic in that. Love her. I just don't think this is a horror movie.
What else do you put it under?
A comedy thriller, you know. But here's the thing. We talked about it earlier. Horror is such an all.
People's heads blow up at the end.
Okay.
Spoiler alert.
That scene is cool, but
there's a ghost in it.
But yeah, it's not a horror like we talked about earlier. Horror nowadays, it's so big. And just because I don't consider it a horror movie doesn't mean it's not for you.
Oh, it's straight. It's more comedy than it is horror.
Yeah, just because there's one scene, literally like 30 seconds of the movie, where something. I'm not going to say what happens because I don't want to ruin it. But something happens, and you're like, okay, that's kind of cool, but yeah, I don't know. This just did not work for me. It's not a bad movie. It's well made. It just didn't connect with me. I don't think it's a horror movie, but I'm not gonna stab it either because I know you love it so much.
I do,
and I'm not stabbing it.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite movies of the year. Period. I just love this movie. I think it's so much fun. More people need to go watch Ready or Not. Also, that song is stuck in my head constantly.
Which one is that?
The chase song, the hide and seek song.
Oh yeah.
All right, so that is number 3. Should we run down what we got so far before we get to our final 2 picks here?
We can.
Yeah, let's do it.
Number 10, we have Ma. Number 9, Lords of Chaos. Number 8, Escape Room. Number 7, Tigers Are Not Afraid. Number 6, Lose. Number 5 is Us. Number 4 is The Dead Don't Die. Number 3 is Ready or Not.
This is quite the list.
This is eclectic.
This is awesome.
All right. There's 2 picks left.
2 picks.
This is interesting because I think there's one movie that needs to be number 1.
Okay.
And I don't know if we are agreeing with the same one. So
we'll see.
Okay. I'm a little nervous, but I'm playing this because I think it should be here.
Okay.
It's Midsummer.
Okay. I have not watched this yet. I didn't get to it.
Okay. Ari Aster's follow-up to Hereditary. I think this movie is unfairly maligned a little bit as like a Wicker Man ripoff because it's nothing like Wicker Man at all, other than people go
it's a pagan
to
cult.
Right. This movie. So it's a short synopsis. A girl played by Florence Pugh, who is incredible in this movie. I cannot imagine shooting this movie and literally having to cry and scream all day long. She loses her family in a tragic accident. And at the same time, she's kind of going through a weird period with her boyfriend where she doesn't realize that her boyfriend doesn't want to be with her anymore. And she gets invited to a trip with one of their friends to, I believe it's Sweden, for this Midsummer Festival of, what this commune does every,
Coachella
summer.
For weirdos.
Yeah. And so she agrees to go along against her boyfriend's, her boyfriend asked her, but expected her to say no. Mm-hmm. And so they go, and weird stuff starts happening. I'm not gonna talk about what happens, but basically weird stuff starts happening. And I'll just describe basically the aesthetics of the entire movie because I don't want to talk about the surprises.
I know nothing about what happens in this movie.
Perfect.
Luckily, the internet has been really cool about saying nothing about this.
This movie takes place almost entirely during the day. You don't expect scares at all. I think Ari Aster came out before the movie came out and said, there's no scares in this. It's just weird, horrific stuff that happens. I have personally never taken, like DMT or Molly or anything like that, so I have no idea what it's like to be on hallucinogens. But supposedly, I've read multiple people online who are like, this is exactly what it's like to be on psychedelic drugs. So there's many sequences where like flowers in the backgrounds are swirling, just swirling in the background, and you're kind of like, if you're not paying attention to it, you wouldn't even notice it. The sound design is incredible. There are times where like the theater was shaking and vibrating because it was so loud. That always goes a long way with me with movies. There's a sequence in the movie, maybe like 45 minutes in, where Ari Aster pans across a bunch of, how do I say this? Pans through this little commune, and there's drawings somewhere. I'm not gonna reveal where, but anyway, if you look at the drawings, it tells the entire movie. And if like, it's just like, oh, what's all happening here? And you're like, oh, and sure enough, bam, 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 everything happens, and one by one, this group of kids gets just bumped off, and something happens to them, and the stuff that happens to them is horrific, but you're kind of laughing because they deserve it. In a way, because some of these guys are really nice people. Florence Pugh is just like, she's so good in this movie, and I'm sort of out on Marvel movies, but I didn't know she was in the Black Widow, so I'm really excited to see that because she could be a big star, and she's in Little Women as well. I completely forgot about that, so I'm excited where she goes as well.
Yeah, this has been her year this year.
Yeah.
She kicked it off with Fighting with My Family, then this.
I forgot about that too.
Yeah, and then
if you look at the cover of Midsommar, that is literally Florence Pugh's face for the entire movie. She is in tears almost in every single scene. It's an incredible performance.
All right. Yeah, I've said this multiple times to you. I need to see this movie.
Yeah.
It's just, I never got to it in the theater, unfortunately, and I loved Hereditary so much. Yeah. But I've heard it's just a very different movie, too.
The opening 10 minutes are very much like Hereditary, and it just flips a switch, and all of a sudden it's sunny the entire time. And it's a weird thing to
watch a horror movie in the daylight?
Well, you like the way it's shot, the way it's all set up, you feel like you're in this trance. You feel like, if you ever been up for like 30, 40 hours...
Not that much, but like
you
day,
have,
yeah.
You're like, oh, like
in the days.
Yeah, that's what this feels like. It's incredible.
I love the way he described this movie before it came out, and he said it's Wizard of Oz for perverts. Is that an accurate description? In a strange way,
not in a story sense.
No, I'm not expecting that, but
it's
an aesthetic sense.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, there's some stuff in it where I'm not going to talk about, but it's
cool.
Yeah, I just want to say this. I also respect a mainstream movie that shows penis for like an extended amount of time, just like it doesn't care. I really respect Jack Rayner for having the guts to give
his junk out,
give his everything, quote unquote. So, yeah, I think that was funny too.
All right, Midsommar, number 2.
I am nervous.
Are you?
Yeah, I am.
Really?
Yeah.
You shouldn't be nervous. 'Cause number 1, best horror film of 2019 is Mike Flanagan's Dr. Sleep.
Oh my God.
I know what's in your hand. We'll talk about it. But Dr. Sleep is... I've just got around to this movie about a week or two ago, and Mike Flanagan had the impossible... Mike Flanagan right now, I think, is my favorite director working today. Period. Out of any genre. I love Mike Flanagan. But this, he had the impossible... I think it's an impossible task, what he had going into this movie. You had to take a Stephen King sequel that... not a lot of people have probably heard of, besides those who read King nonstop and know of The Shining. But then you also had to take the Kubrick Shining film that Stephen King hated and build a faithful adaptation while also building a sequel to The Shining. So you have to take these two elements that very much collide and butt heads because they're two very different things from one guy that hates the other, and I think a lot of Dr. Sleep the book was kind of fixing what he didn't like about the movie and that type of stuff. So he had this impossible task of doing both. And then you're also making a sequel, period, to one of the greatest horror films ever made. Mm-hmm. One of the greatest films possibly ever made. And
anyway, yeah.
But he does it to perfection. Yeah. I love this movie. He takes that task and does it seamlessly. He is everything he does in this movie, Mike Flanagan, as far as directing and everything that's involved with that, is so seamless in this movie. He's so good. He's just on the top of his game right now. There's no stopping him. And I think this is a perfect way to do a sequel to a beloved film. Because what it does, and what a lot of movies do today, is they have problems with, we need to shove everything in your face that you loved before. Right? Like looking at the Top Gun trailer for a recent thing. You're
really upset about that.
That looks like the exact same movie, down to beach volleyball and a mustache. But Dr. Sleep, what it does, it sets up characters first. The characters in this movie come first and foremost. Yeah. Danny, the young girl, Rose the Hat. Those are who he sets up first. Then when you get to the third and final act, then it's the Shining stuff. Yeah. He's making you earn it almost.
Yeah.
Like, you need to get involved with these characters, fall for them, support them, hate the villain. You need to do that stuff first, and then you get into, all right, now we're at the Overlook Hotel, which I loved. I'm not going to go too much into it because you haven't seen it yet.
I have not seen Dr. Sleep.
But yeah, Ewan McGregor is fantastic in this movie. It is not The Shining, though, which I loved. It's not even the same tone as The Shining. Very, very weird in that way, because this is a very much a fantasy film, where The Shining was more of a psychological thriller, descent into madness film.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's hard to really characterize a Kubrick movie. I don't know what I call The Shining. It's definitely its own thing.
Yeah. Dr. Sleep is too, because it's like the fantasy elements in this movie I was not expecting, because it is straight up a Stephen King fantasy now at this point.
Is it scary?
I don't get scared anymore, so I can't answer that question.
You don't get scared
anymore?
I
don't get scared anymore.
All right.
It's very...
for the record, I'm like 13 years older than you are, and I get scared still.
None of the movies I had on here, I don't have any movie this year that scared me. The last movie that I did was Hereditary, but...
yeah, that movie is evil.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
But Dr. Sleep, though, I was not expecting what I got. Okay. And I loved it. It's a 2.5 hour epic film. And yeah, the visuals in it are beautiful. I think every performance in it is great. Rebecca Ferguson plays Rose the Hat.
I love Rebecca Ferguson.
She is so good in this movie. She is so good because she's so charismatic that you want to root for her, but everything she does is so evil and just vile. Like, you hate her. And it takes what you think The Shine is and kind of flips it on its head and gives it a meaning. Because I have a theory about it, and I haven't seen it really anywhere else. And I want to talk to you about it after you see Dr. Sleep. Because I don't want to spoil what I have a theory.
I don't know when it comes out on digital, so I don't know.
Very soon. I think it'll be out by the time this episode goes out.
Okay.
So Dr. Sleep is my number one pick.
So if I stab this,
I'll play what you want to play, but
what happened? How did this movie not make the list?
I can explain to you if you want to. Whatever you want to do here, I will explain why I picked Dr. Sleep.
No. I'm fine with you picking Dr. Sleep. I just how did we not get this movie on here?
I have an explanation. But it's up to you. You have the power.
I don't want to be a dick. I mean, I am a dick, but I'm not going to stab it.
You did I let Escape Room stay on it.
You should have. Looking at it, you should have stabbed that to get this movie on. I can't believe this movie's not going to be on this list because it's far and away the best horror movie of the year. Oh man! I thought I thought One Cut of the Dead was going to be. It's in your. And I didn't have it. I completely forgot about it. I'm not stabbing it. It's I can't stab a movie I haven't seen. That's not fair.
I think this is Dr. Sleep might be my most rewatchable movie out of what I have here.
You've seen it once, though, right?
And I've only seen it once. Like, but it's one I'm gonna want to go. I want to see the big 3-hour cut Flanagan did.
Is that coming out?
Should be on the Blu-ray.
Is that something that I should watch first, or should I watch the theatrical cut?
I would watch I always say watch the theatrical first.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna stab this. That'd be really demeaning. We gotta get this decade off to a good start. So.
All right, Dr. Sleep. Whew. All right, should we talk about the elephant in the room?
Yes.
Rob Eggers,
yes.
The Lighthouse.
Yes.
Do I need to explain myself first?
Well, you don't have to, but I just want to hear what took you from. Well, yeah. I want to hear why you liked Dr. Sleep more than The Lighthouse.
I don't. The Lighthouse is my favorite movie of the year. Period.
Oh, okay.
I can't call it a horror movie though. But I don't know what to call it.
It's a horror movie.
It has to fall under that umbrella, but I also don't.
It's a horror movie. There's no mistaking it.
I don't know what to. Yeah, but for me, I didn't know what to put it at.
Okay.
And it is my favorite movie of the year, but I think if I'm gonna make a horror list, it couldn't top it for me because I didn't consider it horror, but I don't know what else to call it.
Okay.
Yeah, in a very weird spot for it.
For me, it's a straight up horror movie. There's no mistaking. It's like an old. We've been talking about it recently, but it's almost like an old. Universal monster movie without kind of like the monster and more of like what happens to the characters if they were fighting something that was unseeable.
Yeah. The Lighthouse. Yeah, like I said, it's my favorite movie of the year. Yeah, I love The Lighthouse.
I do too. I was shocked because I didn't. We'll get to The Witch on the next show. I didn't like The Witch. And are
we gonna get to it? Because I didn't like it either.
No. We'll save it for the next one because I want to talk about it a little bit more in depth. I didn't like The Witch, and I was very hesitant to watch The Lighthouse because of the hype that Robert Eggers has. I think he's a very talented director, filmmaker, but I was like watching The Lighthouse and like with my jaw dropped like this. I was surprised at how much I enjoyed The Lighthouse. For me, it was just it's the clear winner of the year. But you somehow like it more than I do, and it's not here, and that's just the way it is, I guess.
I don't know.
I mean,
I can't explain it.
We make these lists, and we have instant regrets, about some of the choices we made, at the lower spots. But
I have no regrets on any of my picks.
I mean,
not having The Lighthouse on your.
I don't either.
Regrets.
I don't either. But I mean. Yeah, I mean, you're the one playing non-horror movies, so whatever.
What's not a horror movie?
Ready or Not and Lords of Chaos, right? And technically Tiger's Not Afraid.
They're all horror adjacent. As much as The Lighthouse is.
Are we going to fight?
I don't know. No, I think this is a very wide range of horror movies.
This is an interesting list.
I love it.
No, it's a good list. The Lighthouse not being here is not indicative of how we feel about it. It's just it just didn't work out. So.
I had Dr. Sleep had to make it on here. I didn't even write The Lighthouse down.
Wow.
Yeah.
You monster.
I do have some other ones on here. But yeah, The Lighthouse, like I said, favorite movie of the year. This movie was made for me to love, and I loved it. Black and white movies are my jam. I just love the aesthetic of black and white. The use of the 3/4 framing.
Oh yeah,
loved it. It's so claustrophobic, and you feel like you're stuck in this lighthouse with Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe. But it's a very very atmospheric film, but it also contains a ton of fart jokes.
I was surprisingly never bored with this movie. There's always something interesting to look at. There's always something like
it flies by.
I don't agree with that, but it definitely is not boring. And like Pattinson continues to go from strength to strength as an actor. Willem Dafoe is great.
I love his pirate.
Willem Dafoe is great.
Freaking pirate accent in this movie. Love it.
Willem Dafoe tells Robert Pattinson not to kill a seagull because it's bad luck, and Robert Pattinson destroys a seagull in one scene.
I'm still trying to figure out what the seagull means. Oh. The Lighthouse is also a movie I'm going to go back to a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot. I know there's a lot of interesting. I feel like what's that writer's name? Lovecraftian stuff in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The Lighthouse is a fantastic experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love The Lighthouse.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see what he does next.
I like that you wrote slash.
I wrote in parentheses at number 1, Dr. Sleep, parentheses, The Lighthouse.
If this would have gone any other way and you ended up with number 1 and Lighthouse was played there, I would have had no problem with it.
Yeah. This is what I get for being nice.
Yeah,
so
that's what you get.
Very cool. Casey, please read off this one more time.
Yeah. Let's go. I want to mention these two. One Cut of the Dead, which
we
we both loved, and I think we've talked about before, so that's why I didn't play it.
I thought you were going to play it, so...
I was debating between this and Tigers, but,
but
we hadn't talked about Tigers.
My thought process was, I have these 5. Casey also loves these other ones that I love. He'll play those. And that was my thought process. I was like, The Lighthouse, boom, he'll play it. One Cut of the Dead, he'll play it. He'll play it, so...
I was expecting you to play One Cut of the Dead and not frickin' Escape Room, man. But that's the way it happens. I also wrote down The Headhunter.
That was one I expected you to play.
Just the way
Yeah.
The way it worked out.
Oh, it's all right.
Also, special shout out, Horror Noir is the best documentary of the year for horror films.
Well, yeah. There's not much else, so
there isn't. But I love that film. I couldn't put it on here because it's a documentary. It's not a horror movie.
That would definitely count.
What?
Horror Noir?
Yeah, it's a documentary though. I wouldn't put it on this list.
Still a movie.
Yeah, it is.
I didn't care for it much, but I would not have stabbed that it's a pretty important movie. Mm-hmm. So.
All right, so let's run down what we got. The best horror films of 2019. Number 10, Ma. Number 9, Lords of Chaos. Number 8, Escape Room. Number 7, Tigers Are Not Afraid. Number 6, Loose. Number 5, Us. Number 4, The Dead Don't Die. Number 3, Ready or Not. Number 2, Midsummer. And number 1, Dr. Sleep. And in another world, The Lighthouse. Great list. I love this list, though.
Yeah, it's very
wide.
Eclectic. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Should we wrap this thing up then?
Let's do it.
We've been mentioning that we are doing another show because we are recording another show right after this. We will be counting down our personal top 10 movies, horror films of the decade.
Yeah.
So we won't be doing it killer countdown style. Blake has a top 10. I have a top 10.
We'll just
run it down.
It's going to be a general discussion about the decade in general and the movies that really affected us.
Yep, so no stabs involved. Nope. We're just going to talk about what we loved.
Just going to talk.
Yeah, so that look out for that. You'll find it on wherever you find this podcast. It shouldn't come
out too much later than this.
I'll probably put it out before, honestly, so if you haven't, go check that out. But yeah, you can find this, right now, this podcast will still be on the Backlot main feed. It'll eventually go to its own feed this year. That is one goal we have for 2020. Put the Killer Countdown on its own feed. So that'll eventually happen, but for now, you'll find it on Backlot 605, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcast, and YouTube. Find us on backlot605.com. And yeah, Blake, do you have anything else to plug?
If you feel like following me on Instagram, I created a separate account called Midwest Cinephile, I believe?
Midwest_Cinephile.
Midwest_Cinephile. I review every single movie I watch. And it's not just horror, it's everything I watch. So I'm there. Our live show we have coming up. This is going to come out in a couple of weeks. On the 26th, we have a live show coming up where we are going to team up with some other people and do a top 20 of the decade list.
Period. That's any movies.
Any movie. That's going to be wild. If you're in the Sioux Falls area, that is at Last Stop Studios on the east side at 3 p.m. January 26th. Man, that's going to be a banger.
It's going to be a ton of fun.
A lot of fun.
Ton of fun. So look out for that. And yeah, I don't have anything else to plug for us because I think I got it all. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Until then, this has been the Killer Countdown. This is Casey and Blake signing off.